And hello, everyone. Thank you so much for checking out today's episode of Hardball Sports Talk. My name is Brandon. We are doing this very late, and I apologize for that. Alex is not with me today. He had to work a little bit later than I did today, so I am flying solo. We were going to do this episode last night. I'm recording this about 4 o'clock on Friday. The plan was to do this one last night, and I had a migraine last night, and I couldn't really function. So I apologize for that. It's been a not a great week for the podcast. Hopefully, we can get back in the swing of things though, starting next week. So today, though, I would like to talk to you guys about the Detroit Tigers. Excuse me. The Tigers had a not a great week, to be completely honest with you guys. Uh, they went they went 3-5 in their two series with the Rangers and the Twins, respectively. Total, they split with the Twins 2-2, and then the Rangers took 3 out of 4 against us. Each game, I'll do a quick recap of the games and then uh, give my thoughts on a couple of things for the team. We also have some studs and duds of the week. Uh, we both have the same duds, so I have a couple honorable mentions to mention. And then, so Alex texted me his stuff because we knew I'd be recording without him. Because I want to get this in before the game starts tonight. The Tigers are in Minnesota tonight for a 3-game series with the Twins. We will cover that at the end of the episode. Just to get started, though, last Friday, the Tigers took on the Minnesota Twins to start off a 4-game series. Thursday night game got rained out, so they did a doubleheader on Saturday. But on Friday, the Tigers had a really good game. They won 8-2 over Minnesota. Skubal pitched 5 innings, 2 hits, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. You would like Skubal to go a little bit deeper in the game, but pitch count was an issue, which I think that might be an issue all season with Skubal because he does strike out a lot of batters, and that is the danger of that. Mark Canha went 2 for 3 with a 2-run home run. Torkelson went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs, and Veerling went 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs. Torkelson, he's not my stud of the week. Okay, so I'm going to say that right now. He had a decent week at bat. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but Torkelson, it looks like he's coming around slowly. Really would like to get that bat going if you're the Tigers. That is a key bat in your lineup. Yeah, so Saturday they had a doubleheader. Game 1, went at extra innings, and the Tigers fell apart in the 12th. The Twins ended up winning that one 11-5. The key players for the Tigers, we got Kerry Carpenter going 1 for 4 with a 2-run home run, and Colt Keith getting 2 RBIs. The starting pitcher for the Tigers was Kenta Maeda. He had a decent game. Went 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs. One of them was earned, and you struck out 5. And if that's what you're going to get out of Kenta Maeda, sign me up. But unfortunately, there's a second game that he pitched this week, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Kerry Carpenter went 1 for 2 with 1 run. Javi Baez went 0 for 2, but he did get an RBI. And I'm going to talk about Javi in a little bit when I get done with the game recaps here. Matt Manning was the pitcher for the second game. He's not officially on the roster. So what they do with a doubleheader is you're allowed to call up an extra player. Most of the teams do a pitcher, and most of the teams that call up pitchers call up a starting pitcher to start that game. And fortunately for the Tigers, Manning was available to pitch both these times for doubleheaders. He pitched 6 2/3, allowed 5 hits, 4 runs, all of them were earned, walked 2, struck out 7. The biggest issue with Matt Manning is home runs, and he allowed 2 of those on Saturday. And that's why he's not on the big league roster. Completely honest with you guys. The long ball is an issue for Matt Manning. On Sunday, the Tigers really needed to win this one, and thankfully they did. Canha went 1 for 4, 2 RBIs. Baez went 1 for 3 with a home run. Jack Flaherty pitched 6 in the third innings, allowed 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, and 8 strikeouts. I had the score written down, but I appeared to lost it here, so I'm sorry for that. But I do know they beat the Twins on Sunday. It was a must-win game if you can have that in April. And the reason is it's a division game at home, and you don't want to lose 3 out of 4 to a division rival at home early in the season. In my opinion, it was a must-win game if that's such a thing in April. But the Tigers, then the Texas Rangers came into town against the Tigers. Texas took game 1 on Jackie Robinson Day. Texas won that one 1-0. Mark Cannon went 2 for 4 with a double. Reese Olson was the Tigers pitcher. He pitched 6 1/3, allowed 6 hits, 1 run, walked 1, and 8 strikeouts. So last week, Reese Olson was my dud of the week. He is not my stud of the week this week, but he had a heck of a week this week. And he struck this was a great game, bounce back game. Actually might have been my stud of the week. I forgot who I wrote down. On Tuesday, the Tigers won 4-2. Key players for that one is McKinstry. He went 1 for 3 with a walk and 2 runs. Carpenter went 2 for 3 with an RBI. Casey Mize pitched 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 6 strikeouts. And again, if you're getting 6 innings pitched out of these starting pitchers and they're allowing 1-2 runs, that's a recipe for success for these Tigers. That is where the Tigers are going to win their ball games this year, is the starting pitcher going 6 innings, allowing 2 or less runs. The offense at some point has to warm up. This offense isn't good. I'm not saying this is a top 10 offense any stretch of imagination. I don't think it is. I think it's better than what they've been showing. And we'll talk about that in a little bit here. But honestly, your goal should be getting your starter through 6, allowing 2 or less, maybe 3. Get quality starts out of your starters. The bullpen, I trust this bullpen to come in and shut the door against most teams. So that's where my confidence in the Tigers is in their pitching. And it was in the defense until the last 2 games. Wednesday, Texas won 5-4. Tigers defense had 3 errors in this game, which I'll talk a little bit more about this later. But this offense is not good enough for this defense to be making 3 errors in the game. Riley Green went 1 for 3 with 2 walks. Kerry Carpenter went 1 for 5. He hit a home run, though. He also struck out 3 times. Tariq Skubal, your ace, he went 6 1/3 with 5 hits, 4 runs. 2 of them were earned, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts. So Skubal doing Skubal things, giving this team a chance to win. On Thursday, Texas won 9-7 again. It was a roller coaster of a game. Tigers defense again, 3 errors. You can't do that. Riley Green went 2 for 4 with 2 runs and an RBI. Mark Cannon went 2 for 3 with an RBI. Cork went 1 for 3 with an RBI and 2 walks. And Javier Baez went 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. Kenta Maeda went 2 2/3 innings, allowed 7 hits, 6 runs. 5 of those were earned, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, and allowed 3 home runs. So Maeda really laid an egg yesterday for the Tigers. That's just not what we signed him for. Hopefully he can get things figured out, because this is now, off the top of my head, I think he's had 4 starts now, and 3 of them have been very underwhelming. So hopefully him and Chris Fetter can figure things out. If anybody can, it's Chris Fetter. I have a lot of confidence in him and the rest of the pitching coaching staff. But yeah, Kenta Maeda has been very disappointing so far in this young season. Before we get too far in the studs and the duds of the week, I would like to say something. And again, I'm by myself today. I'm sorry for that. But the Tigers defense this week committed 8 errors. This offense is not good enough for you to be averaging an error a game. It's just not. Especially right now, this offense is sputtering. You got shut out Monday, 1-0. You win Tuesday, but you really only score 4 runs. Texas on Thursday beat us 9-7, so the offense was a little bit there on Thursday. But, it's just not a good enough offense to be kicking the ball around. And the Tigers offseason, they really focused on pitching staff and defense. And so far this year, it has not been an issue, besides Maeda having a rough start here and there. And this week of defense with 8 errors. All season long, though, this defense has been better than I expected it to be. This week was not the case. And if the Tigers are going to go anywhere this year, they need to get these errors figured out and get them figured out quick. Because, and we'll look at the schedule here, this is a rough part of not a rough part of the schedule, but an important part of the schedule. They'll be playing the Twins this coming weekend, starting tonight, for 3 in Minnesota. And then they travel down to Tampa Bay, who, by the way, we started the season in Tampa Bay last year and got swept in 4 games. So Tampa Bay's had our number in recent years. the Twins division rival, the team that you need to beat because everyone figures the division is coming down to the Tigers and the Twins. I'm on that page. I think the Guardians and the Royals might have something to say about that when it's all said and done. I think both those teams have a chance at making noise here. But really, it's the Tigers and the Twins are the two favorites in this division. And if you're going to be kicking the ball around, you're just not going to win this division. This division is not going to be a tough division to win. I don't think there's an elite team in this division. Last year, the Tigers dominated play in the division, and the reason they lost is because a slow April, and they couldn't beat anybody in the AL East. So what happens now is we're in April, and we're playing a team in the AL East coming up. That Tampa Bay series is becoming big right now, in my personal opinion. But first, let's get taken care of Minnesota at their place. My stud of the week this year for hitters is Mark Canha. He had an 868 on base or OPS, with 6 walks, 4 strikeouts, 1 home run, and 4 RBIs. Really solid week for Mark Canha. He's a guy that he's going to get on base for you, and he's got a little bit of power in the bat. I really like this pickup for the Tigers. It's a very quiet one, goes into going unnoticed, but Mark Canha has become a really nice player for these Detroit Tigers. Alex's stud of the week is Kerry Carpenter. He had a 283 average with a 918 OPS, hit 3 doubles and 2 triples. And when I was typing that one in my notes, that was really fun because I have 3 2B and 2 3B. So kind of got cross-eyed there when I was working on this one, to be honest with you guys. He hit 3 home runs, 8 RBIs. The reason why I did not go with Kerry Carpenter for myself for the stud of the week is this right here, 14 strikeouts. For me, the baseball with a lot of strikeouts is not great. Look at the Tigers' defense this week. The Tigers' defense, who's supposed to be solid, kicked the ball around. That's not going to be an issue every week. I really don't believe that. But, if you're striking out 14 times, you're not even putting pressure on the defense to make a play. So that is why he's not my stud of the week, but he is Alex's stud of the week. And that's not a bad pick. Both of us have the same dud of the week. Parker Meadows went 1 for 14 with 7 strikeouts, 133 on base percentage. At some point, I really think the Tigers are going to have to consider sending him down to Toledo. I have not looked at Toledo's numbers, but Akil Baddoo is down there. He's also a left-handed center fielder with some speed. I'm not huge on Akil Baddoo, but at this point, I think he might deserve a chance over Parker Meadows. Give Parker a little rest down in Toledo, help him figure out things down there where there's less pressure on him, and that would be not ideal, but that might be the best case or the best ideal for him right now. My honorable, or I guess in this case, dishonorable mention for the Detroit Tigers is their defense. And I've mentioned a couple times now, 8 errors in the last 8 games. Again, this offense is not good enough for us to be kicking the ball around that much. Plain and simple. And I'm higher on the Tigers than most people are because I'm a fan of the blinders on. I'll be completely honest with you guys. But if you're going to kick the ball around like this, we have no chance. And this offense, again, not designed to be kicking the ball around. My pitching stud of the week is Alex Faedo. He pitched 6 1/3 with 2 hits, 1 run. It was not an earned run. Pitching 6 innings out of the bullpen in a week, really good, and really keeping the other team off the board. Beautiful. And that's exactly what we'd like out of Faedo. Alex went with Alex Lang. He allowed 3 hits, 6 runs, but all of them were unearned runs. He did walk 7 and strike out 10. Again, if Alex Lang can figure things out, that's a really nice arm of the bullpen. So hopefully this decent week of his will help him get on track. An honorable mention for stud of the week is Reese Olson, our last week dud of the week. He went 6 1/3, 6 hits, 1 earned, and 8 strikeouts in his 1 start this week. So really nice bounce back game there for Reese Olson. And then our pitching dud of the week is Kenta Maeda. This week he pitched 8 2/3 inning between his 2 starts, allowed 12 hits, 6 earned runs, and 3 home runs. That is not a recipe for success for Kenta Maeda or any pitcher for that matter. So hopefully he can bounce back his next start. which will be against the Tampa Bay Rays. But first up, we got the Minnesota Twins. We are in Minnesota. Tonight, Jack Flaherty is going against Joe Ryan. Tomorrow, Reese Olson against Bailey Ober. And then on Sunday, we got Casey Mize versus Louis Garland. At Tampa Bay for 3, we got Tariq Skubal and Zach Little, Kenta Maeda and Ryan Pepiot, and Jack Flaherty against our old friend Tyler Alexander. So it should be a good week of baseball here for the Tigers. I was going to do something for you guys after I was done with the recaps, but we are so late on this now that we will talk about that some other day. But I'd like to give my opinion on the umpire disaster known as Angel Hernandez. But again, I'm trying to get this out as fast as I can today, so we will talk about that some other day. Next week for the show, we will be doing a show on Tuesday, which will be releasing on Spotify on Wednesday. We are covering the NFL draft on that one. And we're going to do it a little bit differently. Instead of sitting here predicting who's going in what round, we are going to be looking at the history of the draft, telling you guys our favorite and least favorite picks of the last 25 years for each of the teams. So be on the lookout for that one. And then we will do a Tigers recap episode for these series, and then obviously preview next week's games. And with it being the draft, I kind of want to do a prospect or a Tigers draft theme. I think I might go with more the prospects because MLB has their own draft coming up, and I would rather stick to something like that. I believe that's around the All-Star game. They moved it to then. But thank you guys so much for checking us out today. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It was a little bit different with just me. I really enjoy having Alex around. I'm sorry we couldn't work things out this week. But he will be back with me next week, and the shows will be better next week when he's back on because this show's a lot better with both of us on here. I truly believe that. It is fun to do with him, and I've really appreciated having him join the show the last few months. He's one of my best friends. He's a great guy. We talk sports all the time. We have some ideas for different things we want to do with the show. We're trying to figure out the logistics of it, but there's this game called Stratomatic that we both absolutely love, and we want to do an episode of us playing Stratomatic against each other, but we're trying to figure out the logistics of making that work. So hopefully we can make that work for you guys because, one, we enjoy playing it, and two, it's just a fun game to play, and we think we might get some views. So thank you guys so much for checking us out. Be sure to like us on Facebook and Instagram. Links for those are in the description of the Spotify. Be sure to, if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section or leave us an email at hardballsportstalk@gmail.com. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. I hope you guys have a great day, and go Tigers.